Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. In today's video, we are going to be doing the monthly reading and this is for the month of August. To begin with, I would like to showcase the key dates which are going to be coming into picture. For the month of August, you will see that Sun is in the sign of Cancer until the first half of the month, which is till August 15th. And from August 16th onwards, he will be moving to his own sign of Leo. Mercury is in Cancer until August 30th. He is retrograded but will become direct from August 11th onwards. And he is also going to be joining Sun into the sign of Leo on the last day of the month. Then you have Venus, which is placed in the sign of Gemini. It is conjunct with Jupiter there until August 19th. And from August 20th onwards, it is going to be moving into the sign of Cancer. Mars is going to continue to remain in the sign of Virgo throughout August. Jupiter is in Gemini and it is currently in the nakshatra of Ardra, which is ruled by Rahu itself. And then he is going to be moving into the Punarvasu nakshatra from August 13th onwards, which is ruled by himself. So that's a good movement coming in for Jupiter in Gemini itself. Then you have Saturn, which is in the Pisces sign in Uttara nakshatra, its own nakshatra. And we've also done a detailed video around the retrogression of Saturn. So it is present in a retrograded mode in the sign of Pisces. You have Rahu in Purv Bhadra of Jupiter itself in the sign of Aquarius, and then Ketu in Purv Nakshatra of Venus now, which is in the sign of Leo. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into the deep dive of the reading. So Taurus, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have your Lagna Lord Venus, which is going to be placed in the sign of Gemini in conjunction with Jupiter in your second house. He also happens to be the Lord of your sixth house, and he will be transiting into the third house in the last third of the month. Mercury is placed in your third in conjunction with Sun, and the second half of the month, Sun will be transiting in your fourth house, where he'll become conjunct with Ketu, bang opposite to which is Rahu. And then you have Mars in your fifth, whilst retrograded Saturn is sitting in your 11th house. Now you have to understand here that Jupiter is currently placed in the Ardra nakshatra of Rahu, and he is in conjunction with Venus, which happens to be not only your Lagna Lord but also your sixth Lord. So, eighth and sixth Lord are sitting in conjunction in the second house. And that means that on the difficult side of things, there could be a lot of challenges that could come into play. That could be certain difficulties that could come into play with respect to your family, with respect to your money, with respect to food. But it is all not negative because your Lagna Lord as well, your 11th Lord are also placed in conjunction. They happen to be having the rulership of that as well. So we have to have a concise, combined analysis. And the impact of this conjunction, guys, is going to depend on the Shadbala, on the strength of both these planets in your natal chart. So from a transitory perspective, I want you to keep that in mind. The other bit you have to understand is whilst the sixth and the eighth conjunction is happening in the second, it can possibly denote difficulties. Maybe, somebody in your family could fall sick, your family members, food poisoning related issues, because food is also an impact, or there could be some, loss in currency that could come into play. But given that Jupiter is your lord of gains, wish fulfillment, desires, and 11th lord in the second house is a beautiful placement in terms of its Dhan Yoga. I see a more auspicious impact coming into play because of this Jupiter's presence with the second lord, with the Lagna Lord itself in your second house. And thereby, I would give a word of caution for that first 10-11 days, whilst your second lord Mercury itself is in retrogression in the sign of Cancer. He's not happy in that sign of Cancer. And guys, we have to see this holistically to understand what is going to transpire. Jupiter and Venus conjunction is known to be Kuber Yoga as well. So from a money front, monetary front perspective, I anticipate that there is a lot of positive outlook, positive anticipation that is promised in the chart, which is coming in, especially for the next, 10 days, which is from 11th till 20th, whilst Venus is going to be in displacement. The other good that is going to happen is that Jupiter is going to move into Punarvasu Nakshatra from 13th of August onwards. and thereby his aspect into the eighth house, into your 10th house and 12th house is also going to be, I'm sorry, eighth house, sixth house, and 10th house is going to be a lot more auspicious. So I see positive movement, expansion coming in from a career perspective, from a transformation of sorts coming in with respect to how you try to change things. Now, when I was saying that there could be certain difficulties, there could be difficulties in terms of health, or some kind of an uneasy situation where you realize that you have to break your daily rhythm, you have to break your daily regimen, you have to undergo some kind of a transition, some sort of a transformation during this period to evolve yourself. So please be ready on those grounds from that perspective too. Now, Jupiter from here, whilst he's giving an aspect to your sixth house, he is going to push you in terms of doing the right thing at your workplace, taking the right call when it comes to your health, any kind of financial related matters. And from a finance perspective, I see Taurus, you continue to do well. You are in a very good dignity. In fact, your Lagna Lord, who's naturally the Lord of second house as well, his placement into the second is a very positive bit coming into play. And this is what I had alluded in my last month video as well. Many of you Taurus have shared positive news with me in terms of you being able to crack open a job that you'd been eyeing for. Many of you have seen promotions. I know there has been a lot of turbulence from an economy standpoint that people do see a bit of a difficulty. I keep on getting those mixed feedbacks, but I want to call out folks that it has to be a combination of your natal chart and your transit, which is going to transpire in the right direction. And it's like a catalyst that gets triggered from the transit reflecting into your natal. So that is what I want to keep reminding you. Now, as we move further, what we see that in your third house, you have the conjunction of Sun and Mercury, whilst Mercury remains retrograded in the first 10 days. This conjunction is going to be there for the first half of the month. Now, Sun is 12th to itself, albeit, but it is not a bad placement for Sun to be in, because a malefic like Sun in the third house is going to ooze your confidence. There is going to be a lot of strength that you bring, especially from a formal communication interaction standpoint. I bet, Taurus, you guys have been going beyond your comfort zone as well. Many of you could have started traveling related to work, even in, with respect to some sort of connection with your loved ones, family members, especially your mother. Some sort of a family related travel could have also come into play, or with family could have come into play in the last few days. But you have to understand that there will still be certain degrees of turbulence in your relationships, in your romance, in your difficulties with your studies, challenges with decision making. Some of your decisions could have gone haywire as well. It feels as if you are creative enough, yet that creativity has not panned out because of that retrogression of Mercury. Yes, he's 11th to itself, but still retrograded. So some bit of that miscommunication, either in the formal side or even from a informal family members perspective, could have been into play, and you've got to be watchful in that front. The good news is that you will find relief from 11th of August onwards, and thereby your confidence, especially from a public speaking perspective, from how you are articulating your thought process, if you're in social media, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all those channels, from e-commerce business standpoint as well, I see a lot of improvement coming into play. You will be putting in efforts. You would be getting the right support from your family members as well, whilst you are embarking on new initiatives, new projects for that matter. So things are going to be improving once that retrogression comes to an end. And many of you would be realizing that your money seems to be stuck somewhere. So that stuck money seems to also be coming back to you. So that is another relief that will come into picture. Now, in the second half of the month, Sun will transit into your fourth house. And once that happens, Sun will be coming into his own sign, into own house placement. Now, you already have Ketu placed in there, and I've been talking about this. Taurus, Scorpios, Leos, and Aquarius have a very interesting Kendra transit of Rahu and Ketu in their lives. Now, Ketu in your fourth can be a little bit difficult, given that he brings this level of alienation, isolation, from a family perspective. And now when you see your fourth lord coming into picture in the fourth house itself, one good thing that will happen is that there will be a lot of sanity that will prevail. You will find that you will be getting a lot better grip of your emotions, of your thought process. There could be several initiatives that, Taurus, you could be making in terms of expanding your wealth, expanding your movable, immovable assets. There could be certain purchases you could make as well. But at the same time, there is a other side of the spectrum that comes into play. And this is where you realize that Ketu's dissective energies would be impacting you. Now, Ketu is the lord of your seventh house. So, especially if you are married, if you are any kind of business partnerships or any kind of formal relationships, could have some bit of an ego tussle. And you've got to be careful on that front because that can be a little challenging. It could be a little demanding. And in the first 10 days, you have Mercury in retrogression, but in the second half, whilst Mercury will be direct, Sun being in conjunction with Ketu will either take you to the heights of things or it will take you to the depth of things. So it could make you self reflect, introspect as well, and see that whether or not how you've been communicating, your thought process, your articulation, or just your emotions, they could see a wild swing for that matter. So be watchful in that front. Some degree of spirituality is going to be especially helpful. But as long as you continue to behave in whatsoever pattern that you've had through the course in the last few weeks, you will still find yourself better. Bringing a spiritual connect, bringing a spiritual practice on a day to day basis is going to be very fruitful during this period. Both of these planets are giving an aspect into your 10th house. Now remember, Sun is going to be coming in the direct of axis of Rahu Ketu. So it's like an eclipse coming into picture, and both of these planets will be giving an aspect to your 10th house. So your 10th house activities, your public perception, your karma, your efforts, your career, your profession, your social respect, all of that will definitely get activated. Now there could be certain bit of problems as well that could come into picture, but if you are able to handle things cleverly, especially the fact that you have Rahu sitting in its own sign, in its in its favorite axis of the 10th house, there is a possibility that you could be potentially deal with those complications, with those challenges smartly. So keep that in mind. Now, whilst we've talked about the second half of the month from this perspective, you have to keep in mind that in the last 10 days, Venus will be coming in conjunction with Mercury in your third house. And Venus is a softer planet. His presence in the third is not especially easy. But the good part is that his conjunction with Mercury is going to give you a lot of possibilities in terms of how you're presenting your thought process to the world. That's a good bit that is happening there. I see that there could be some bit of travel, both short duration and long distance, or short duration, short distance travel could come into picture for you, which will be extremely fruitful. This is also going to be a period where your interest towards dealing with any religion related affairs, spiritual affairs could get heightened. You will be exploring, retrospecting, introspecting your thought process around it. You have to keep in mind your Yoga planet is Saturn. He is sitting retro the 11th house, third place from itself, from a ninth lordship perspective. So there is going to be some level of play replay that is going to come into picture. Good part is that the second half of the month or the last part of the month is going to be especially fruitful in terms of your dealings, dialogue with your superiors, bosses, mentors, people at workplace, your gurus, your guides, your teachers, your professors and stuff. So be positive, be prepared to deliver, put something extra to them, and you will be rewarded on those lines too. Now, as we move further, I see that your seventh lord and your 12th lord Mars is placed in the sign of Virgo. He is placed 11 places away and then 6 places away from itself. Now, this is where are going to see some mixed results from your partnership perspective, marriage perspective. There will be certain triggers. You could see certain gains that you can derive from your formal associations in life. In fact, there will be a lot of sanity that could prevail, and you could bring on a positive side of things, a lot of energy towards your relationships. But it is also possible that that energy, that effort might just feel as if going in vain. Please do not drop the ball there because Saturn is giving a retrograded aspect to your fifth house. So you might have this feeling that I'm doing so much for her, I'm doing so much for him. Why is there no reciprocation? So be prepared for having that sort of an experience, that sort of a mismatch, because your energy is going to get exhausted. For students watching this video, it is going to be paramount that you put your best foot forward if you are trying to get into any kind of foreign colleges, schools, admissions, etc. When I say foreign, it could be far away from your current place of residence. It can be rewarding as well from that perspective, but there is going to be a lot of running around. There's going to be a lot of energy, effort, hard work that, guys, you have to be prepared to put in. Now, from a trading investment strategy perspective, it can trigger certain losses. So please be watchful. Do not be making any kind of investments in a random format. 1/12th Lord is sitting in the fifth house. Then you have this retrograded aspect from the Saturn also coming into play. Speculation is definitely not going to be helpful for you at all. So be mindful of that. Then this Mars is also giving an aspect to your eighth house. You see, eighth house has aspect of retrograded Saturn, Ketu, Jupiter, Venus for some point in time, and then also Mars coming into play. So there is a certain degree of transformation. There is a certain degree of learning, going deep into understanding, some sort of research. All of that is going to be crucial, guys. Now, irrespective of what sphere of life, what walk of life you're coming from, you're a business person doing a job somewhere, you're a student watching this video, you're a homemaker, you're a retired person, you have to understand that there is no bound in terms of age and experience to learn new things, and the variety of topics that you could explore yourself, you could expose yourself to, and bring those learnings to you. So be prepared to do that. It is going to be very crucial. I do not recommend any kind of speculative activities for my Taurus friends. Mars is also going to be giving an aspect to your 11th house and 12th. So, whilst there is this bit of expenses coming into play, you will try and keep those expenses, those losses into check as well. May not be a bad idea for you to be proactively spiritual, donate something, do some charitable activities. It's going to act like a remedy, very good remedy for you folks. And then, as we moved into the last bit here, last but not the least, Saturn is sitting, being your ninth and 10th lord in your 11th retrograded. He is going to require you to push, bring in more rigor, more effort. Sometimes you might feel as if the reward is not coming your way. Hang in there, folks. Reward is going to trickle down for you. It is going to pan out in a positive direction. Yes, the only risk that I see is some unexpected turbulence coming in with respect to marriage, with respect to your business, because of this difficult aspect of retrograded aspect into your eighth house. So there could be certain surprises, but as long as you are seeing the test of Saturn in your business, in your marriage, in your collaborations, you will also have the right mindset, overcome those problems, and make the right decision. Why do I say that? Because Jupiter's placement and his aspects are perfect. They are brilliant for you, especially to the 10th house. So as long as, and to your 8th house, so as long as you are able to pass that test of Saturn, I do not see any kind of major threats. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, Taurus. If you have, then I request you to please smash on that like button, subscribe to Dave Astrology, and keep watching.